Hello, welcome back to Tea Time. I'm sorry I haven't posted a video in a while. It's been really busy the last couple, probably about 2 weeks, I guess, since I've posted the last video, which was basically just explaining, hey, this is my final site. And then I had a whole week in McNess where we were doing orientation to site, and then about 4 days ago, I think, maybe 5 days ago, we all got together and took the train down to Marrakesh and a 4 hour bus ride into Ouarzazate where I am now, and then everybody else left, and me and my site mate stayed here and are getting acquainted with the area. It's a pretty big city, so it's been a lot of my time is just walking around or going for runs and trying to get to know the area. Um, it's it's big, but it's really beautiful. I wish. I mean, I'm in my bedroom right now. I'm all snuggled up. You can see because it's cold. And I don't really want to get up or do anything. Although it's really nice in the sun. It's really not bad. It's just in the mornings it's hard. And after lunch right now, everyone else is out doing things, and I've got some paperwork and stuff to do, so I'm in the house. And I figured I would finally give another update since I haven't in a while. And I apologize for that. But it's really nice here. I mean, people are really awesome. There's tons of stuff to do. There's a Chinese restaurant. I know that this isn't like the biggest thing, but I mean, it's pretty important to me because it's really good food. It's a little expensive, but it's like an awesome thing to see just because that hasn't existed even in Meknes, which is a big city, much bigger than ours is at, but really, really, really good food. But anyway, um, yeah, so what now is like the big question, and that's a thing that I've been getting asked, and so I wanted to address that. But it's also I'm like moving my laptop and then putting my hands right back under the covers, of which there are plenty. They keep offering me more blankets, which is really sweet. I've got plenty, but ooh, there's no heating inside, so they are certainly necessary. But anyway, oh, and by the way, this is a blanket that I own. I don't know if I ever posted a picture of it, but I bought it at the co-op in my CBT site in Indla. It's really nice. I like it a lot. Um, right, but this video is as much about informing people as it is about self-reflection, just because we basically get dropped here, and then it's we have to cut out our own work for us, I guess, especially in Ouarzazate where I am, because it's such a big place. It's not like I can just come here and ask people, okay, what do you want to see in your community? Because there's not just one community here, and truly the need isn't structural, I guess I would say. There's access to food and water and leisure and a lot of things. That's not to say that it's completely without need. But people have a lot here. My family specifically. I'm trying to fix my mustache that I've been growing out. Let me know how you feel about it. I know, and then the hair is all down too. It's a different look, I know. Um, yeah, my family has a lot. I mean, the one that I'm staying with right now, my host mother, my new host mother, her name is Zubida. She is the principal of sorts of the women's center, and my host father is former military. So they're definitely a family of means, which, if you remember from previous videos, I was like worried about not being prepared because my older host family had a decent amount, and it's even more so here. And everywhere in Rise is pretty developed, I would say. So no worries there. But the last few days has been, and the next weeks will look a lot the same as the last few days, in that it's a lot of walking around and introducing myself to people, and just practicing my language and getting to know the area. I went for the first time to my assigned workplace at the Dar Shabab, the women's or the youth center, And I've already met my supervisor before. They actually brought them up to one of the trainings in Meknes, so I wasn't meeting him for the first time when I came down here. I was re-meeting him, which is pretty cool. And he's a really nice guy. And there's a lot going on at that youth center. It's got a lot of different clubs and yet still a lot of room for improvement. So it looks like a really good place to get to know. So as far as that's concerned, I'm thinking about this next month is going to look a lot like going down very close to where I'm living right now, but going down to the Dar Shabab, and just getting to meet members of clubs and the leaders of the clubs and seeing what they're doing, and seeing what clubs there are that need help, or what clubs there aren't that I might be able to gauge if there's an interest in, and then use my own skills to develop. So things that I'm thinking about, one, that there's a really big theater club. There's actually two. One is older students and one is younger students. And they were practicing when I went down there the first time, just doing exercises and things like that. I don't really have a lot of language to facilitate those necessarily in Darija, but I could probably do it in French. And what's really nice is that the school that I went to when I was studying in France, I took a theater class. It was a really great class too, so I'm gonna reach out to that professor, and see if I can't, use some of his material that I learned in his class, and then just draw on my own past experiences doing musical theater. So maybe also including singing in there somehow. We'll see. And we'll have to see, where the interest is in that as well. You don't want to just go in and start doing projects if people aren't interested in those projects, especially if people can't own those projects themselves. So you want to help facilitate and be the catalyst to some things, but you don't necessarily want to be the only reason that those sorts of projects exist at all. That's to say that without you, when I leave here at the end of 2 years, make sure that they'll keep going on. That's the hope. That's the main goal and the big struggle for Peace Corps volunteers. There's also an environmental club that exists but is not very active, and that was exciting to me. I don't know a whole lot like on the technical side of those things, but I like to camp and hike, and I did bike and build, so I consider myself um, familiar with those sorts of things, and I think that a lot of Peace Corps is developing new skills that you didn't necessarily have before, just because you have to, in order to meet the needs of the community. So do a little bit more research on the technical end of those things, but also, doing simple things that aren't necessarily difficult, but also not necessarily commonplace here. So like recycling is a good example, or starting a community garden, um, which there's a lot of resources that Peace Corps has to help you do those sorts of things. And the Dar Shabab has a lot of space to do those sorts of things. So my job in the next month is to just, be a familiar face for the kids, sort of integrate is the biggest thing, and it would be the key word, which is, again, super hard in a big community, but doing that in my work setting and then doing that in my around the bless me around my neighborhood setting, which I've been doing pretty well at, I would say. One of my host cousins, it's a very big family here. I did a family tree one of my first days just to try to get familiar. When I meet somebody new, I can put them on the map and say, okay, here's how you're related. That's been a good tool for me. One of my host cousins likes to go to the gym, and there's a gym very close here. He knows a lot of people there, so we've went twice, and it seems like it's going to be a pretty regular thing. He's introduced me to his friends, so that's been a good way of getting into the community, and then also just introducing yourself to people and talking and being present. So that's been my last few days. That'll be really my entire service is making sure that people know me, because it's such a big place. But especially the first few months is when it's really critical. The other thing that I've been doing, especially the last few days, is looking for a house. which is a very daunting task in a different culture when you don't necessarily have all the language that you'd like. Um, but me and my site mate have been looking with the help of one of the current Peace Corps volunteers here. We did it on our own the very first day and ended up spending a lot of time going from one place that was closed to another place that was closed, finally finding one place um, that didn't actually rent houses. They sold them, and then they gave us the information of someplace else, and we gave it to the taxi driver. The taxi driver couldn't read, which is not terribly uncommon for older individuals. Younger individuals read, write, speak several languages. Um, Morocco's been investing a lot in the last years in education, so mostly older individuals that might not read. But yeah, so we had to get out of the taxi and go watch somebody else and ask them, where specifically, what's written on the piece of paper that we had, so that we could just say that. It was a whole thing. And then the day after that, we went with one of the current volunteers, and he's like, "Yeah, just go into the neighborhoods and ask shop owners like what there is for rent around." So that's what we did yesterday, and we looked at like 4 or 5 places, two of which were actually pretty good options. In addition to one that my host mother actually owns. So there's three that we found. Well, two that we found yesterday. One that we already knew about because it's my host mother's, and one that we found on the first day, which is actually pretty far away and probably isn't a great option, but is affordable. And it's actually a very nice apartment. It's just very far out of the way. So that's what we're doing right now is trying to find places and sort of nail it down with the sellers, because we're only staying with our host families for a month, so we don't have a lot of time. The housing market is very competitive here in Ouarzazate because there is a new solar project that they're working on, which is huge. Morocco is, I think I read somewhere, is trying to have, I want to say it was 46% of their energy renewables by 2020, which is less than 3 years now, because we're going into 2018, right? And then like an extra, 58% renewables by 2030 it was. So that's been caused a big struggle for us because the rent prices are going up because people are working at the solar plant and all the things that go with new industry in a new area. But that being said, it's a very exciting time to be here. It's a beautiful place. As I mentioned in the last video, it's the Hollywood of Morocco, but there aren't actually any cinemas here. So if you wanted to watch any of the movies that they make here, you couldn't do it, which is funny. And that's one of the places we thought we might do a project is doing like a film club or something like that. But a lot of new neighborhoods are coming up, and so there's new developments. It's just a matter of, are they in convenient locations? Are they affordable? And will they pass the security measures that Peace Corps has outlined for us? Apart from that, yeah, it's just sort of trying to get into like normalcy again. Making a space for yourself and feeling comfortable and doing things like exercising or reading or yoga or whatever. Those aren't necessarily all things that I would do. Exercising somewhat, I mean, I do make a part of my habit. Reading is something I'd like to cultivate more in myself, but I have Wi-Fi here, so it makes it really hard to motivate myself. And then, just doing things like that make it feel normal and are good for your mental health, just to feel like you're getting into a routine and feel like you have agency over your life and what you're doing, because it's very easy to feel lost. I mean, we're here, we have a work assignment, but we're not necessarily working at it yet. We don't necessarily have family or whatnot, so a lot of struggles that I knew were going to come up, and that I think I'm handling pretty well so far. They say the first 3 months are the hardest. I haven't hit any low points yet. Um, but it's one of those things that you have to constantly be on about because it's easy enough to be like, well, I just don't want to go out today. I just don't want to go out the next day, and then after a little while you're in a slump and you don't know how to get out of it. But yeah, I'm keeping busy, which I'm really happy about. It's easy enough not to. And I'm pretty optimistic. We'll see what happens in the next few weeks. Hopefully, I find a good place, and then I can show you guys around that. Start buying furniture and start cooking for myself, which is all very exciting things. Until then, I'm just enjoying some time with my host family. They're very nice, but it's only a month that I'm with them, so and I might not necessarily be in this neighborhood, so the quality time that we are spending is um, I don't know, maybe not as crucial as it would be if I was in a smaller site. And they're also very busy people, so I don't see them around a lot, which is okay. But yeah, everything is going well. If you're wondering, if you had any questions, just let me know. I'm going to call it there for now. I know that I didn't have any tea for this video. I don't feel like getting up and trying to make it because I'm warm in my bed right now. But in any case, thank you for joining me for some light conversation. See you guys. I've hit the stop button like 5 times now. Okay, I'm just